to JavaScript. Okay, so then what is JavaScript? So I don't think this is we need to answer this question. Everyone knows this, you know this, that's why you are here. But so the very simple definition we can say JavaScript was initially created to make web pages live, like right. So if you have a static web page with just HTML CSS, it's just a boring thing and nothing is happening. So to give it life, we have JavaScript. So that's pretty straightforward and simple. And then also the next is interesting thing, why it is called JavaScript. So when JavaScript was created, it has another name which is LiveScript, but at that time Java was very popular, right? So the creators of JavaScript, they wanted to position this language as a younger brother of Java, so that they could market it well, and you can say that it has a marketing strategy and all. So that's why they had renamed it as JavaScript, so that people may can think that it is some younger brother of JavaScript, right? But rather later JavaScript evolved as a fully functional and independent language. Okay, so so that's the story behind JavaScript, why the name came, right? Okay, and that's the thing that is mentioned here. But as it evolved, JavaScript became a fully independent language with one specification called ECMAScript. Because you might know, like, ECMAScript is the parent thing where all those definition and everything comes up, and now it has no relation to Java at all. So we all know that Java and JavaScript is completely different. Okay, so that's that. Then coming to the engines, so you might have heard about a different engine in JavaScript. Mostly in interviews also ask like what are the engines. So for example, in Google Chrome, which engine you use. So there are different types of code names for the engine. And engine is, what is engine? Engine is something that converts your JavaScript code to machine code, right? So that's the thing, but it has different names, or you can say different flavors of it. So the engine used in Chrome is called V8, and it is used in Opera and Edge as well, because of Edge is also based on Chromium and Chromium also uses V8. But Firefox uses a different engine which is SpiderMonkey. But these are two popular ones, popular engines we have. But apart from that, also we have different engines such as Chakra for Internet Explorer and JavaScript Core for Nitro and all these things. For Safari we have SquareFX and all those things, right? So that's all about engines. So you don't need to know a lot of things about it. So you just need to know that there are some engines. And okay, so then how engines work? So this thing I already explained. So engines are complicated, but basics are easy, right? The engines what it does, it just converts or compiles the script to machine code, and then the machine code gets executed. That's basically the part of a engine. When we are writing some JavaScript in a for a website, that those gets executed in the browser, and those browser engine depends on which browser your user is using. So that's why we have used a website like caniuse.com or something. So where if there is a feature, so it shows that this feature is available in, for example, Chrome, but not in Firefox, because they are different engines. So this is the website can I use, in case you don't know. So if there are certain things, so you can check over here which browser supports that and all. But it supports CSS and all mostly, but you could also check JavaScript similarly. Okay, then coming to the next point, what can in browser JavaScript do? So now the point is, what are the powers of JavaScript in a browser? Modern JavaScript is a safe programming language. Safe, when we are saying safe, it is in terms of data leak, or what the data it can access, all those scenarios it is considering. It does not provide low level access to memory or the CPU, because it was initially created for browsers which do not require it, because browsers don't need to require your low level OS things, right? So that's why it cannot by default access a browser's JavaScript cannot access your memory or cannot access files unless you are specifically giving it access. So it is safe to use, right? And JavaScript capability greatly depend on environment it is running, right? So that's the thing we discussed. If it is in browser, it is very limited to certain things. But if you are using Node.js, so it may can read files, arbitrary files, and perform network requests and so on. So that's the thing. But overall, these are the things JavaScript can do. it can in JavaScript in browser can do, we can say, because it can add HTML to the pages, modify styles, and you can have those mouse over and mouse click actions, Ajax request, and all those things. I think you are pretty aware about this. If not, you can read more about it, right? So as you can see, I have also highlighted certain things. I went through the article and I have highlighted things for you. Okay, then what can in browser JavaScript do? We now learn what it can do, but what it can do. So first of all, it has no direct access to OS functions that we discussed, right? It cannot access to your OS functions, and it could not say that do this and do that, or shut down this laptop. It cannot do that. But other languages, for example Java and all, they have access for that, but JavaScript and browser don't have access for that. And if you want to access the camera and all in JavaScript, and we are discussing about the browser part, but we can, but we need users explicit permission. So if you will click here, you can see what are the things it can access, and if going to site setting, you could know them as well. So it is limited, and if it is you need a microphone or camera access, you need users explicit permission. Then there is also another thing. So different tabs in do not know about each other. So what this means is, I'll explain this one. For example, in this tab I have javascript.info open, and in other tab I have can I use .com open. So what it is saying is, this can I use .com cannot know what I have here and what I even have stored in the storage and all. So for example, it has access to, let's say, local storage or session storage, but it has access to its own things, its own local storage that corresponds to this domain can I use.com, right? So it cannot access the other ones, and that policy is called as same origin policy. And if you see the other way around, also we have seen the codes cross origin resource sharing. If there are different origins, how we share resource and what is the error. So I hope you know them. If you don't know them, you can comment. Probably I can make a video on that part. Okay, so this is a graphical demonstration of this one. Let's say you are opening this website called javascript.info. So it is happy with that one, like it could access resources, but it could not send this resource to a different one unless you are asking it to. And if you have another tab open with gmail.com, it could not access that the data for that one, and also neither it cannot access the OS functions as well, right? Such limitation does not exist if JavaScript is used outside of a browser, for example on a server. Okay, so for this one, you can take an example of Node.js. So Node.js, that is something JavaScript is running outside of a browser, but now as it is running outside of a browser, so it can have different different set of access or permission. It could access a lot more things than it is in browser. So you can think it of like, in browser JavaScript is restricted to do certain things, but if it is in a server or a local or something in a machine, it could do a lot more. That is the gist of this one. Then what makes JavaScript unique? I have not highlighted these sections because I think you all know these sections. How it integrates with and how it gets enabled by all major browsers and everywhere by default. Then coming to languages over JavaScript, like on top of JavaScript, some languages has been created, and at the end they compile to JavaScript, and they depend on the JavaScript compiler as well. So these are some languages, and some of them are CoffeeScript, and TypeScript is very popular. You might know because these days in Angular or React, everyone is using TypeScript. So TypeScript is by Microsoft, and it is more object-oriented way, right? So Dart also you might know. Flutter uses Dart, right? So all these languages, Kotlin also developed by Google. So all these languages are made on top of JavaScript, right? So now we are end of 1.1 section, and now here's the summary. So the summary is also very straightforward, so you could go over this one. So there is nothing else that we haven't covered over here. So this is the 1.1 of JavaScript, and in the next video we'll cover the another part which is 1.2 of this one. Thank you for staying connected. Subscribe to the UI guy.